here. Go, get out of here. We got wonderful stand-up for you tonight by not some old geezer, a young new guy. Everyone give it up, a dear, dear friend of the show, funny guy, give it up for Colton Martinez.
Hey, no, you guys don't have to applaud. They called me dear, dear friend. Like, I feel like I just got friend-zoned by the entire Longhorn Late Night crew. And I'm not even a deer. I'm a person. That's crazy. So, how's everybody's day going? Everybody having a good day? Yeah, awesome. I had a good day. I had an orgy, actually. Yeah, I had an orgy. It was between my pencil, my notebook, my iPhone, and my computer just watched in the corner. So pretty crazy. You know, when I asked to do stand-up, I was a little hesitant. I was a little scared. As you could tell by looking at me, I'm wheelchair bound. No. I don't mean that I'm bound to a wheelchair. No, that'd be terrible. No. I'm bound for a wheelchair. You know, one day my legs are just going to shrivel up and not be able to carry my enormous girth because I'm Hispanic and I'm probably going to have diabetes. So, yeah, bound for a wheelchair. All right, so a lot of crazy things happening lately, right? You guys hear about the Longhorn run? Yeah. That's scary. Didn't we just like steal that from Spain? I don't want to run alongside any bulls anytime soon. Another thing that's always been interesting about UT is when people come to UT and they take their pictures of what they're doing, they usually take a picture of what they're doing something with. So like I'm friends with a lot of music majors and they take pictures with their instruments in their pictures. And recently I saw a film major have a picture with their camera. And I thought that's weird because what if every single major did that? Like a chemistry major and he's just taking his picture and he's holding out an 8-ounce block of argon in his hand. That wouldn't make any sense because that's a colorless, odorless gas. So you wouldn't be able to tell. And what the heck am I supposed to do? I'm starting to be a gynecologist, so how am I supposed to take that picture, you know? That's crazy. Yeah. And then it's also May the 4th, right? Any Star Wars fans here? Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but there's some guy who came up to me on Speedway. He ran up to me. He said, "Hey, may the 4th be with you," because I guess that's something that people say. And I had no idea how to respond. I said, "And with your spirit." Yeah, thank you. That's a Catholic joke. Anybody here's Catholic? Yeah. Also, you know, Chewbacca's a cool character. Yeah. Right? I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a nice fellow. The cool thing about Chewbacca is he gets to celebrate holidays 2 days in a row. Because if you didn't know this, Chewbacca is a Latina. Yeah, Chewbacca actually owns his own chain of Mexican food restaurants. You might have actually seen them. They're called Chewy's. Heard of them? Yeah. Okay, cool. He also rolls his R's a lot. And he eats hot chips and he lies a lot. So he's a Latina. So that's really great. That's really awesome. But you know, Chewbacca's another species from out of this world. I think we should start to focus on the species that we have on Earth. Right? So like I went to Petco. And Petco by H-E-B, because for some reason there's a Petco by H-E-B. But I walked in there and I went into the fish aisle and there's I guess a brand of fish. A brand of fish called the rosy red minnow. And you could buy them for 10 cents each. And that seems really irresponsible, just like owning another species for 10 cents. Like my cat could earn 10 cents and then just own another species. That's really scary. So I got on the phone with my mom because I was really into this story. I was like, "Hey Mom, this is really freaking me out how you can just own fish for 10 cents. You know, you can like buy clownfish and they're like way more expensive, but they've had a story about them so their stocks shot up. But there needs to be a story about this rosy red minnow." And she didn't say anything because she doesn't care. But some guy on the street came up to me and he was wearing raggedy clothes and he was like covered in soot and stuff like that. And I assumed he was a worker from the old iron mill down the street, right? But he was probably just a homeless guy. But he came up to me and he was like, "Well, there is a story about the rosy red minnow." And I was like, "Okay, well, tell me, old man." And he said, the rosy red minnow walks into a bar and in front of him there's another guy, and he's ordering a sandwich, and the sandwich comes out dry. So he decides to put some mayonnaise on it. Now the Rosy Red Minnow, if you look at their whole category, they're from Mexico, so they probably don't know the language very well. So they walked into the bar, and he just like pointed at a dry martini, and he said, "Give me the dry martini." So he handed him his ID. He's like, "Well, I don't know if I can give you a dry martini. You're a fish." And he handed him the ID, and the ID says Nemo. And he says, "You're not Nemo the fish." He says, "No, I was named after him. My father is Mick Jagger, and my mother is a fish." So Mick Jagger had sex with a fish. Anyways, that's besides the point. He gets the drink, and it's dry. So he saw what the other guy did with the mayonnaise. So he grabs the mayonnaise, and he starts putting it in his martini glass. And the clerk's like, "Well, what the heck are you doing?" He said, "I'm putting mayonnaise in it." But he didn't know how to say it. He was like, "How much mayonnaise are you putting in there?" And he didn't know how to say it in English, so he said it in Spanish. But he said it, a fifth of mayonnaise. And it came out as Cinco de Mayo. So ever since then, everybody's just been putting a fifth of mayonnaise in anything that's dry. So you know like the saying, April showers bring May flowers? So April's a really wet month, and then May's a very dry month. So they decided to celebrate this thing called Cinco de Mayo, a fifth of mayo, on that day. And on that day, you just put a fifth of mayonnaise on anything that's dry. So to the girl that texts me at home, I will be adding a fifth of mayonnaise to our texts. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.